What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Frieren Beyond Journey's End. We are back. It is season 2. It is finally here. Wow. I'm excited for this. I am super excited for this. Frieren season 1 was one of my favorite shows to watch for the channel, and one of my favorite fantasy shows in a long while. And it's a really good it's a really good show. I mean, what can I say? There's so many praise for the first season. I don't need to further elaborate on that. But if you do want to see my thoughts on the first season and individual episodes, mind you, you can just check out my first season reaction. All of them are on the channel. But TLDR, I think season 1 was fantastic. It was incredible. I love the overall pace of that first season, the direction especially. We'll get to that in a bit. But like the overall direction, the animation especially, but of course the story, it captures me. It is a cozy vibe. That first half where they're just traveling around, and then we see them interact with other people and seeing their kind of like uh their adventures, and of course their developments as characters grow. That was a lot of fun. It was very cozy, and every time we flash back to Frieren, and then it's all sad and kind of like a very heartwarming but also heart-wrenching experience every time we cut to Frieren reminiscing about, oh, Himmel loves me, why didn't I see it sooner? And I'm like, you only noticed it now. But that's kind of like basically Frieren in a nutshell, isn't it? And then the second half, which I find some people not really vibing as much as the first half, which I guess it is to be expected because it is kind of a tonal shift. But personally, I really enjoyed the second half where we went on the mage exam, kind of a really good excuse for the animators to just go all out and just do just to give us all of that incredible set of episodes in terms of like animation and such. But yeah, overall really fun. It was an incredible experience, as I mentioned. As I talked about the direction, one of the things that made season 1 so good was the direction. Unfortunately, Keiichiro Saito, the director of the first season, has stepped down from the director's role in the second season, though you guys can correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to this, but he's still in the project in some capacity, like an assistant or whatever, but he stepped down from like the main director's role. That has been replaced by Tomoya Kitagawa, who also worked on the first season. So that's gonna be like the thing that I'm kind of curious when it comes to like season 2. How is the direction? Because the direction in season 1 was spectacular. It was incredible. Every episode felt so consistently well developed, and it's almost like there has never been like a dip in quality, at least in my eyes. And whether or not like the actual production behind the scenes were smooth or not, I mean, it didn't really felt that it was collapsing in any way, shape or form in that first season. It was just an incredible experience. So very curious to see how that all pans out in the second season. Hopefully, judging from like the very high ratings that the show has gotten from like the first episode alone, I don't think that's gonna be the case. Hopefully, it's also only like 10 episodes. So we're not going to be here long, but it's going to be a fun experience nonetheless. So if you're new here for some reason, if this is your first time watching a reaction from me for Frieren Season 2, then all I will say is that early access and other stuff are available on the Patreon. If you do want to watch the full reaction, there is a timer version in the description below. No need for Patreon on that part, but if you do want like the earliest reaction for this, because I will be uploading the first, my immediate reaction, my immediate recording of this will be on the Patreon. So if you don't want to wait a day, because I do have to edit this out, and that will take like at least a day or two. If you want to watch it as early as possible, you can support me on the Patreon. You'll get that and a lot more stuff. If not, that's also fine. Anyways, glad to be back with Frieren. Enjoy the first episode. Oh my god, Evan Call's music, of course. How could I forget to talk about that during the intro? Can't wait to hear more incredible music this season. Shall we go then? Wow. We're picking up immediately after, oh, look at this. Hold on. Visions of the first episode? Wow, they just to show, like, wow. It does feel familiar, doesn't it?
ずっと故郷の土地で暮らす私らには想像もできないほどに長い旅路になるのでしょうな。
10 years.
そうかもね。
Wow. Frieren answering that? Great touch. Like she's understanding the concept of time now. Oh, look at this. Wow. Wow. Oh. Oh. 29 years after the death of Himmel the hero. Oh, we're getting a new rendition of the song. I don't think I've heard this version in the first season.
魚釣ってきたぜ。
That is such.
次は大物釣ってくるから。
He's doing his best.
何か気になることがあって目が覚めてしまったみたいです。
ちゃんと褒めた？
当然です。
Of course. Oh.
これは大物だね。火の魔法が出ませんね。これは風魔法って言ってね。魔法を無効化する力を持った鉱石だよ。
It's kind of powerful.
この純度なら半径3メートルは無効化できるかな。
3 meters, okay.
小石ほどの大きさで金貨数枚はくだらない。この大きさなら豪邸が買えるね。
すげえな。
近くにあるだけで魔法が使えなくなるんじゃ持っていけませんね。そんな石早く捨てちゃってください。今魔物に襲われたら全滅しますよ。
Don't jinx it.
すごく面白いからこの石にめっちゃ魔力を込めるとね。めっちゃ光るんだよ。
眩しい。
早く捨ててきてください。
No, it's interesting, Fern. Trust me.
まだ光ってる。
Hopefully that won't attract unwanted people or devils, enemies, demons.
火山地帯を越えた先だよ。今は比較的安全な温泉地帯だよ。
Hot Springs episode?
もしかしてこの地面。やっぱり地面の下が空洞になっていたか。
Nice save from Fern there.
フリーレン様。
Uh-oh. Is it like
やっちゃったかも。
filled with like crystals? It's filled with crystals. Well, this is a problem. Hopefully there's no monsters here.
ほとんど洞窟全体が風魔港なんですね。
これを持って帰ったら億万長者か。
風魔港は物質の中でも最大級の高度を持つ。これは人類にはどうしようもないものだよ。とにかくここを登るのは無理だから。
Some things are out of humanity's reach. Thematically appropriate.
頼りにしているからね、シュタルク。魔法の使えない私たちはここではただの女の子だ。
Of course.
私、シュタルクがクソババアって言ったこと忘れてない。
That's a callback. For Frieren, that was like a second ago. Ah, the montages. This music. We're so back. Bone piles. Something's here, that's for sure.
まさかこんなところで野営することになるとはな。
Oh my god, Frieren sleeping is so cute.
フリーレン様は大型の魔物の巣かもしれないと言っていました。
気楽なもんだな。
私は怖くてたまらない。魔力探知すら使えないんです。こんなことは生まれて初めてです。まるで暗闇に放り込まれたみたい。
Oh, look at this.
魔物。
フリーレン起きろ、逃げ。大体気持ちよさそうに寝やがって。どうしてそんなに。
私はシュタルクに命を預けているからね。シュタルクを前衛として仲間にした時からそのつ
Oh
もり
wow,
だっ
look
た
at
よ。
that. Beautiful.
逃げたくてたまらね
そう。じゃあ一緒に逃げようか。シュタルク、ヘレン、目をつぶって。
Beautiful. Beautiful.
なぜお前は俺に命を預けるなんて言えるんだ。俺は村を捨てて逃げた男だ。
じゃあ逃げたくなったらみんなで逃げよう。
Wow. Oh, those explosions? These fires? Beautifully done. Oh. These are some incredible cuts here. Great stuff.
それじゃあ逃げようか。
それの私が重い方？
ハイターは酒臭いってさ。
Oh, oh. Yeah. Of course she's smiling. Just like the good old days.
怖かったね。みんなで逃げるのも悪くないでしょ。
フリーレン、
何？
腰が抜けて歩けない。
Shall we go then?
あれ、いない。今日こそ大物を釣るぞ。
シュタルクからもらったやつだっけ？ヘルンって楽しそうに道具の手入れをするよね。誰かからもらったものだからでしょうか。私は戦争で故郷も何もかも失ってしまいましたから。
Right.
こうして大事なものが増えていくのが
Oh.
嬉しいのかもしれません。
Yeah, it's also like what those gifts mean to her.
あ、
エッチ。よし、できた。
He looks so guilty. Man, I just love this party. This party of three?
何？
もしかして今ちょっと空気悪い？
そうかも。
They might be,
フリー
yeah.
レンもそういうの分かるようになってきたのか。
She's starting to understand human emotions.
シュタルク、もし居心地が悪いならちゃんと言ってね。シュタルクを無理やりパーティーに誘ったのは私なんだから。
Hey, look at this.
フリーレン、あれってもしかして宿屋か？
Nothing beats a fantasy inn.
お？フリーレンじゃねえか。
Hey! Wasn't expecting to see them this soon. Or at all.
ビアベル、元気そうだな。
北の果てでまた魔族が暴れ始めたらしくてな。大急ぎで帰ることになった。あのな、言っとくが俺はまだおっさんじゃねえぞ。つい最近まで20代だったんだ。
それ、別のおっさんもよく言っていたな。
Wow.
それでシュタルク、あの話は考えてくれたか？
Ah, right.
北の果ての戦況はだいぶ悪くてな。
Right.
俺はこのパーティーの前衛だ。
そうか。俺は往生際が悪くてな。フリーレン、こいつ口説いてもいいか？
勝手にすればいい。
うん。
フリーレン様。
Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful.
ビアベルの話なら断ったぜ。
シュタルク様はそれでいいんですか？
フリーレンたちと初めて出会った時さ、本当はもう限界だったんだ。フリーレンはさ、俺のことを無理やりパーティーに誘ったって言っていたけど、 違うんだ。
シュタルク様は逃げないと思います。
あの夜にフェルンが俺の背中を押してくれたから、一緒に旅がしたいと思ってパーティーに加わったんだ。俺はどこにも行かないよ。
I love these two
だ
so
から
much.
もっと優しくして。
Yeah, I love these two so much.
じゃあおいで。いっぱい撫でます。
何企んでるの？怖い！
めんどくさいなこいつ。
He's thinking of something else when he heard that. Oh my god, Frieren. Some things never change. Oh.
結局口説き落とせなかったか。
That was beautiful. The show is making me misty-eyed again. just from that. Insane.
厄介ごとに巻き込まれたり寄り道ばかりですけれどね。
It's all about those little detours, man.
また会おうぜ。
それじゃあ行こうか。
Shall we go then? The three birds. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. What am I looking at? That's beautiful. This is beautiful. What was that ending? Holy shit, that was incredible. I, I wasn't thinking about like, I wonder if they're gonna one up like the season 1 endings, you know, because season, you know, like the first 2 endings of season 1, I mean, they have like their own distinct art style and direction, and then of course, like, you know, Midley Song is just, you know, like, I love that shit, you know. I wasn't thinking about it. Frieren might go 3 for 3 when it comes to the endings. Holy shit, that was great. Great episode. Okay, that was the first episode of Frieren Season 2. And what a great first episode, in my opinion, at least to start the season off. We immediately continue on from the last season, from the very end of the previous season where we left off on our journey, right? We finished the mage exam. Fern got her like her license or whatever, and now we just continue on. I love that we are just immediately going straight into it, which I guess that's probably just, you know, what happens in the manga, and, you know, like we pretty much just cut like on a story beat. But anyways, I love that we are continuing afterwards, and I also love how in the beginning of the episode we are pretty much almost going not necessarily shot for shot, but there are some shots that are shot for shot of the beginning of the first episode of the first season, where we have this incredible sequence where Frieren and her old party with Himmel, Heiter, and Eisen, you know, returning from their long, arduous journey from defeating the Demon King, and obviously we see Frieren just reading a book, and that's pretty much what is happening here in the first episode. In fact, I feel, again, as I mentioned, some of it shot for shot. I feel like some of it were reused animation. They just kind of, you know, maybe they edit like the book out, or they changed the color of it, but a lot of it pretty much the same, right? And that's why Frieren says, this feels some familiar, you know, and there's an obvious reason for that. It's this whole episode, at least when it comes to like the first half with Frieren, it is kind of like a rekindling of sorts, you know, her getting that nostalgia of being with her old party once again, you know, and this has happened multiple times in like the first season, where we go off on an adventure, Stark and Fern does something, and then Frieren's like getting reminded of like, huh, I remember this happening like a couple of years ago, with all of my buddies, and what fun memories. And it's almost interesting that we have gotten to a point where she is remembering stuff that happened fairly recently, or more specifically, stuff that we have already experienced as viewers. So that was fun. But what was also fun during that whole scene was after they hop off the uh as they hop off like the wagon or what have you, you know they the guy says to Frieren, he talks about like, oh, you're still going to Ende. That is a very long journey, right? Like I couldn't imagine, for people like me who don't really travel that far, like how long this will take, And she says, like, yeah, it will be a long journey, you know. And I find it to be such good character development for Frieren. This episode, honestly, actually, a lot of really good development for Frieren. um, because it's not just that scene, but also something that happened during like in the cave. But during this scene specifically, when she says, when she talks about like, yeah, it's gonna be like a long journey or whatever, you got to take into account she doesn't do that. Like she usually does not care much about time, or rather, she still perceives time in elf years and not human years. We have gotten to a point where she understands that a 10-year journey is not just a mere 10-year journey. 10 years is 10 years. That is a lot of time. That is a long time to be out and about. And by the time we are over with this journey, if Fern and Stark will be, they're not just going to be like these young adults anymore. They're just going to be full-fledged out adults. They're probably already married by that point. um but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, yes, great, I love this. And then we go to the opening. I'm just gonna skim a bit when it comes in regards to like the opening, but I really do love the visuals of the opening. Some of those really quick cuts of Frieren walking, and then we see like the stuff that is happening in front of her as we just cut time skip to time skip of like when the journey begins. They go to the Demon King, then they go back to their they go back to their homeland. They celebrate their victory, and now we are in like this new age, this new era where she is traveling again now with a new party. Like the passage of time once again. Really cool stuff. Love again, like the overall art style of the opening does remind me again. It's a very similar, if not the same, art style of like the first two openings of Frieren. In regards to the song itself, I like it. It's pretty good. It'll probably grow on me as we go on, but pretty good song. And then beyond that, we continue on with our shenanigans and what have you. All of the Frieren facial expressions here are on point. I feel like they are hammering that. They are tripling down on the Frieren faces in this episode. Just as they obviously know how popular it is in like the second half of the first season. So why not give the fans what they want? To me, that counts as like fan service. But it warms my heart to see this old hag. I'm sorry, to see this very cute old elf sleeping soundly and nicely. I do love the callback to that joke that Stark kind of gave to Frieren in like the first season. And then we go to like the cave and whatever, and that moment when she is sleeping nice and soundly, and Fern, that really haunting a shot of Fern and the rest of the gang just in darkness, because Fern is quite scared just to be there, not having this, not being able to conjure up any magic because her mana is being blocked by the crystals. You feel that isolation from her, and I'm wondering if we're gonna be focusing more on that in the future, because it's that whole sequence, specifically that shot and the moment when she talks about it, to me that almost brings out this idea that to Fern, magic is everything. Magic is her life. In fact, pretty sure we kind of talked about this during in the first season, right? Like magic is what keeps her alive. Magic is um what defines her. For the most part, that's kind of like one of her like what she thinks, what she believes in. Correct me if I'm wrong here in that regard. It's like very early on in like season 1, right? Especially when they were like discovering the flowers and whatever. Um so yeah, just having that shot of her being alone and scared, I do wonder if we're gonna be if we're gonna explore on that more in the future in regards to like, who are you as a person? Is magic all you got? Obviously, in this scenario, in this context, it is terrifying because you are losing your only source of fighting skill. Like, that is your ace card. That is literally what you can do. You put all of your spec into like magic, and now you're in an area that nullifies magic, so now you're kind of hopeless because you didn't spec your character into like all of the other attributes. I'm talking like video game logic here, but that's kind of like how it feels, right? Like, oh my god, I feel so useless. um and that contrast is so perfect, because the contrast with Frieren here is so perfect in this regard, because Frieren is sleeping nice and soundly, and it was played off as a joke, obviously, because the situation at hand. Why are you sleeping so nicely? Why are you making the Frieren face, as we all know it? um but her reasoning, just I think her reasoning is spectacular. It is not only spectacular, but it is also like incredible character growth from her, and it also uh great uh character growth for Fern and Stark especially as well, because her words should ring meaning to them. Her saying, "I am able to sleep soundly because I trust in you guys. Specifically, I trust in you, Stark. I believe in you that you can defend us. Not necessarily to win the fight, but I believe that you will protect us. You will keep us safe." And that is so well done, in my opinion. Stark has come a long way since the dragon fight in season 1. Um, he was presented earlier on as like this coward who ran away, right? Or this coward who couldn't win the fight, and a fraud even, right? Because the villagers think that, oh, this guy, he's like the hero, he defeated the dragon. Nope, he was just standing there shitless because he didn't know what to do, and the dragon kind of mistook that as him standing his ground, even though he was kind of like immovable, literally speaking, because he is afraid, right? And we have come a long way from that. Stark has grown so much as a character. He has proven time and time again how much he is willing to put himself in harm's way to protect these other, not just Frieren and Fern, but also other people as well, right? He has shown time and time again how he has grown past that cowardly personality that he has before. But it's not all gone, right? It's not, you can't just immediately become brave and without any form of cowardice in the span of like a year or two, right? It takes time. There's always going to be moments where you're going to feel afraid. There's always going to be moments where you feel all of these emotions that you don't want to, because that human nature and all. So to hear that from Frieren, to say, "Hey, I believe in you. You can do this," that is just reinforcing him once again that, hey, believe in yourself. Believe in the Frieren that believes in you. Row, fight the power and all. And of course we get that flashback with Aizen especially. It's so it's so obvious, at this point. how much Aizen sees himself in Stark and why he takes him, on his like apprenticeship. Because when Aizen said, like, look, I'm scared, man. I'm so like, I don't want to do this. When we got that flashback again, a reminder, like, we kind of got this exact same thing happening almost beat for beat in like the first season during that dragon fight. Frieren reminiscing about like how Aizen was like extremely scared when he was going to, when he's like about to fight like this big dragon or whatever. It's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. um and of course the whole message of like, hey, if you can't win a fight and you cannot win a fight, don't be a fool. Don't charge head on. If you think you can't win, then run away. There's no shame in running away if it means you are able to live another day. Pick your battles, except if you are quite literally in a life or death situation where you have to fight, otherwise you're going to be dead. See your options. If you think you can get away, get away. Be smart about it. Strategic retreat. And of course the callback of Frieren just making the crystals go shine brightly and blinding everything. I love that we were introduced to that and then we got like the payoff to that. Chekhov's gone and whatever. So that was cool. Frieren smiling as they run away. That was also really cool. And then we get to like the second half of the episode. I really love the focus on Fern's possessions, like her gifts, right? Because she got a gift from Frieren, she got a gift from Fern, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm kind of forgetting, but I'm pretty sure that the necklace that she's wearing is like from Heiter, right? Either Heiter or like her family, but I'm pretty sure it's from Heiter. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that regard because they showed like the 3 items in like uh near the very end of the episode, and obviously thematically speaking, it would make more sense if that was Heiter's because she said she had nothing in regards to like her past, in regards to like her family and whatever, right? Like she got nothing. All of that was taken away from her because of war. But I love that she adores these items, right? Because they have so much meaning, right? It's not just because they are gifts, right? Gifts have meaning, right? Why did these people, why does this person give you this specific item, right? It's a symbol of so many things, and especially in regards to Stark, in this episode, I mean, we kind of know what it means, like come on, it is a sign of his, of his love, even if he chose it mistakenly because he doesn't know what it means. But yeah, it's these two these two characters and their relationship. I cannot wait to see what we have in store for Fern and Stark. Fern and Stark shippers. Could this be our season? I want more. Are they gonna go beyond hand holding and dancing? Are we gonna get more dances? I hope we get more dances. I hope we get more of that wholesome scenes between Fern and Stark. Every once in a while, between all of the quote unquote hating between the two of them. It's like, it's still like cute hating though. I don't know how else to describe it. Like tsundere levels of hate. Like, I hate you. Like that's basically it, right? They'll resolve it in like an hour. But yeah, these two are fantastic. I love that for them. Especially near the end of the episode again, when they have this like heart to heart moment. Stark saying like, "Nope, I'm not taking his like offer to join your party." Like that's never gonna happen because I didn't just join this party because I was forced into it. No, like I joined this party because you also, talking about Fern, like you also inspired me to be this way. Like you're the one who uh, who uh, who who made me believe in myself more, right? Great stuff, man. I just love these three characters now. They're great. They're incredible. Um, her holding the bracelet as they were running away, being carried by Stark, and you see like how terrified she is. But it's also like it's not just that she is terrified for herself, but she's also terrified for Stark as well, right? That's why she was holding the bracelet. She's like, please don't let anything happen to me, and please don't let anything happen to him as well. It's great stuff. Great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, you know what else is great? The music. Oh my god, Evan Call. What a composer. It's still award shows, they don't really matter much in regards to like what wins and what loses, because ultimately at the end of the day, award shows are just about, you know, giving movies and shows and whatever more recognition, and that is great. And it's also just about like celebration of the medium, which is also great. And at the very least, if you get nominated, that's also like more recognition for you, right? um with that being said, I do feel like I do feel a certain level of disappointment. I was a bit gutted, when the Frieren soundtrack did not win. What was it, like the Crunchyroll Anime Awards? Again, like, not that it matters that much, but it would have meant so much. Like, Evan Call deserves the praise. Don't get you know what I mean? Like he deserves it. He deserves that name recognition that a lot of other uh composers of the medium already have at this point. Like people talk about like Sawano, Kevin Penkin, Shiro Sagisu, and all Yuki Kajiura. Like they're all greats. They're all greats. I'm probably missing like a few other people. Joe Hisaishi, of Studio Ghibli fame. Like they're all, they're one of the greats. But I feel like we need to talk about Evan Call more. The dude deserves it. One of the best soundtracks that I've heard all year long when it comes to like Frieren season 1. He's back with season 2, and it's been great. I'm hearing like some music from like season 1. I'm hearing like new renditions of stuff from season 1 as well. And I think there's like 1 or 2 new tracks in here. I could be wrong, but all in all, it just brings like the whole vibe into like completion. Like that, it is almost like like the final glue. Like all of this, the Frieren atmosphere, the soundtrack is part of that atmosphere. So I gotta give it praise. Beyond that, of course, the animation, especially in this episode, it's incredible. I hope they keep this up. That whole fight sequence with the dragon in the flashback, that was beautiful. That was great. Hope to see more of that in the future in regards to like the action animation. But like everything else has been really solid. Like there's almost I don't feel any quality drops from season 1 to this premiere. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can kind of feel like there's a difference in quality between seasons whenever whenever a season of a show continues. But I guess maybe that's like back in the day when production schedules are hellish and all over the place, and so we get like a dip in quality. Nowadays, it's very surprising to me in this new day and age of anime, where it does feel like these studios, at least like the big studios, in regards to like the bigger projects, they are taking the right they're making the right decisions, and they're taking the right criticisms, because we live in a time where it actually gets better and better with each season. Like Jujutsu Kaisen season 1, and then you look at Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. There's a change in art in visual art direction, that's for sure, but I would argue that the overall production of season 2 far eclipses season 1, for example. The Chainsaw Man adaptation as well. You look at like the season 1 anime and you think to yourself, wow, this is like an incredible uh, 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 production quality at the very least. And then you watch like the movie and I'm like, they're just upping it up. um, and I'm seeing like a lot of other incredible sentiments across other animes as well. You know, like there's, I'm not caught up with anime. I'm famously not caught up with anime. You know, but I'm seeing like stuff in like my social media feed and stuff like people saying like, wow, you know, like people are praising like newer seasons of their favorite show more and more, talking about like how it looks better and better. Um, Even like going back to like, let's say like the final season of Attack on Titan, where you go from like parts 1 and then you go to 2 and then you go to like the final chapters and whatever, like you see that quality increase with each part, right? And I'm just happy. I'm just happy that we are living in an age where that is now possible across multiple studios and not just like one or two studios like Kyoto Animation or like Ufotable, you know, where the quality has already been set and it's almost impossible for them to dip down or what have you. You know, like I'm just glad that we are in an age where we're seeing this as a huge possibility. It's fantastic. It's great. Hopefully the scheduling and like the working environments in those studios are at the very least better than what it was like maybe 5-10 years ago. Although, you know, you're still gonna get something like a One Punch Man season 3. I'm sorry for all of you One Punch Man fans. I really am. I haven't seen the show, but I'm just, from the stuff I've seen of season 3, I feel so sorry for you. And the staff as well. You know, they're probably going through hell right now, you know? Having a bad schedule and then having backlash on the internet as well. Like, Jesus. Like, I do not want to be in their position. Like, it's a terrible situation all throughout. So I'm just hoping all of that is to say, I know this was a bit of a tangent, but all of that is just to say that I hope that the season 2 production of Frieren is going smoothly and going just as planned, and they can just keep up with this production. And perhaps that's probably the reason why they chose to do only 10 episodes and not like 20, what was it, like 28 of like the first season? Like, if that is the case, you know, maybe because production, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, obviously, but I would imagine if, you know, like the committee is saying, you know, like, hey, we need to release this show, this new season in this exact time, and we already set you like this date that you have to do. Maybe they, you know, they have to compromise and say, okay, we'll do that, but we can only do 10 episodes. And maybe that's for the best. Because I know some people want more of a show. Obviously, we all do. But if 10 episodes means that we can get quality at the same level of the first season, maybe more, I don't know, who knows, right? And it keeps like a very healthy production schedule, then, you know, all the power to them. So again, here's hoping the production is good, because so far what I'm seeing in the first episode, it's really good. It's looking really good. It's like I'm still continuing from my season 1 journey here. It's like we never left. I'm not feeling any difference. Like there's no alarm bells ringing here that goes, wait a minute, that looks off or whatever. Nope, everything looks fine. The backgrounds look beautiful. The animation looks beautiful. It's great. It's great to be back. That is it for Frieren Season 2, Episode 1. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, what you all think about this first episode. Maybe if you're a manga reader, let me know how you feel about the adaptation so far, because as an anime only, it's been a blast. I've been enjoying this. So I cannot wait to see more of this. Thank you all so much. See you all next time. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day. Peace.